Hello and welcome everybody to session 15 of the White March edition of my Pillars of Eternity Lorethrough. I forgot to say the date the last few recordings. This is being recorded on November 18th, 2023. So we are currently in the mines of Stalwart. Last session we explored the mines. We went to the second level of the mines and find that there was a colony of Vithrock that had been enslaved by a huge radiant spore. And we took down the radiant spore, so the Vithrock are now peaceful, and they are leaving the miners alone. There is currently some miners were just kind of going crazy and murdering people because of the influence of the radiant spore. One thing that I really wanted to point out here that was very intriguing to me, I don't know if anybody listening will have any further information at that, but I do want to throw it out there. One of the things that we picked up was a thing called a mind grub. And in the explanation for the mind grub, give me a second while I try to find it here. Where is it? I know I have like 4 or 5 of them, I think. Where did it go? Books. Oh, here we go. Missed it. In the description for the mind grub, it says a few lurid fables suggest the mind grubs are all that remains of a second sentient culture that once vied with the Vithrock for dominance. So, as far as I know, this is the only mention of this second sentient culture that probably lived underground. If they were vying with the Vithrock for dominance, that meant that they lived underground, and eventually the Vithrock were able to overtake them and maintain their dominance. And whatever this other race was basically wiped away by the Vithrock. And now the only thing that exists of these are these multicolored mind grubs right here that give you more perception and intellect and make you sickened for 280 seconds after that. So I kind of just wanted to throw it out there and wonder if I'm missing something, if this other race of beings is mentioned anywhere else besides in this description of a mind grub. On a side note, reading this also made me feel like I should have been reading more of the food descriptions as we go through this. Unfortunately, I wasn't doing that, but I feel now like maybe I missed an opportunity at finding some cool lore. So I'll keep that in mind as we go. I'm obviously not going to go and read everything right now, but once we find new things, then I will be reading the descriptions of new food items and those kinds of things. The other thing we read was the Rawatai cookies, which was not as interesting, but was still kind of cool. Here, rivaled by adherents of their love of sweet things, the Rawatai count many delicious desserts and rich treats among their famed recipes. So it was just kind of like a cool little piece of lore about Rawatai. And how their cookies are a delicacy almost around the world, which is interesting. I don't think it's as interesting as the mind grubs, but still kind of cool. Anyway, so I think I'm going to try to read some more food descriptions from now on, maybe some crafting item descriptions and those kinds of things too. Okay, enough of me jabbering on. Let's go forward. I'm gonna go to the inn now. We're a little bit hurting.
Can't believe they're letting that animal go free.
It's all the new blood in town. They're soft.
He better not show his face around here. That's all I'm saying.
So they're talking about the man who was arrested for killing some miners. Suggested that to the mining leader that he go free because he was under the mind control of the radiant spores, and I think that was fair for him to be punished since he was actually being mind controlled. Not just drunk or something like that, but actually somebody was in control of his mind, and I don't think he should be punished for that.
Back to warm your hands, eh? What can I do for you? Top quality bear.
All right, so let's see what's next. So we still have to go confront the Iron Flail, which is the Rayad Saren army that is trying to take control of Durgan's battery. And yeah, I think before I do that, I want to find Wengra at Durgan's battery. There is also some kind of prospector in town that's waiting for us. And I wanted to wait until I got the mines in order before I talked to her, because it seemed like she was going to go see how Stalwart was doing before she put a price on things. This is Nesta here, so let's see what she has to say now that the mine's back in order. God, it's freezing out here. Let's get this over with quickly. I'd go inside the fishery, but that smell, ugh. I'm also regretting having the fish stew at the inn. The fishermen said they found a body in one of the barrels once. That's our monk that we haven't been traveling with that we found in this fish barrel up here. According to the town's records, the fishery doesn't export much these days. Why do they keep it open? It's an unnecessary drain on resources better spent on the White Forge and the mines. Closing down the fishery could help convince the investors that Stalwart is serious about maintaining its prosperity. Okay, so I've got to kind of convince her that Stalwart is worth investing in. So, because I think we want to do this, we're going to try to convince her. I feel like the diplomatic approach might be good with her. So I said, keeping the fishery open will foster goodwill and cooperate with future representatives of Defiance Bay. Nesta replied, yes, many of these people do strike me as the stubborn type. I suppose keeping the fishery open would be a concession the investors are willing to make if it keeps relations friendly. One last thing, totally unrelated to the trade agreement. I heard that you killed Grinda, the head fisherman. What happened? I'm going to say he wanted to get away with murder. I wouldn't let him. A matter of justice, then. That's good to know. I'll be heading over to the Stalwart mines next. My clients are concerned about the security and safety of the mines. Meet me there when you're ready. I'm thinking I made the right choice in making sure these mines are up and running before I spoke with her. She actually went in this time, huh? There she is. It's impressive how quickly Stalwart reopened the mine and got it operational. Nesta looks around approvingly. I'm a little concerned about this incident involving some of the miners, something that was causing erratic, sometimes violent behavior. They said you solved the issue. Care to enlighten me? A giant spore in the Vithrock caverns was mind-controlling the miners as well as the Vithrock. The spore's dead now. But the Vithrock are not, correct? Nesta thinks a moment. I'll have to make a note of their presence in my report. Defiance Bay will insist on having a squad of Crucible Knights protecting the mines as part of the trade agreement. No offense to Stalwart's militia, intended, of course. Cleaver's a friend of mine. Tell him that Stalwart can handle his own security and doesn't need any of his knights. Oh, I didn't know that you knew the commander of the Crucible Knights. I'll note your recommendation then. There's one more stop I must make. The White Forge. I'd like to assess the skills the smiths assigned to the forge. See you there. Which is where we are going next anyway. So I think I want to find Wengra before I talk to Nesta again. Help! Oh. Oh, that's Nesta running. We have some brigands here. Okay.
Seek.
That was a close one. Nesta quivers with exhaustion. I'm usually much more adept at avoiding brigand ambushes. Why were they after you? I'm occasionally mistaken for a tax collector. It's possible that those brigands made that assumption. Let's go. I'll see you at the White Forge then. Interesting. All right. Some workers out here now. Fixing up the barricades. We haven't been here since we opened it back up again.
After nearly losing my leg?
You still got it, don't ya?
So apparently Culmer is not going back up there. He's just going to sit and... Huh. So we have some named NPCs over here? See what these people have to say. Good to see you around here again. Lodger says, well met, stranger. He scratches his head. Wait, I know you. You're the one that cracked this jelly jar in the first place. He laughs and claps you on the back. In that case, well met indeed, and thanks for the job. He leans forward to shake your hand. As he does, you notice that he's favoring his right leg, and his left hand is roughly bandaged. I shouldn't talk too long, or I'll get an earful. He glances over his shoulder. What happened to you? Bad hip that got worse after a night with Culmer's rot gut. He laughs. Is Culmer this person here? But he's wincing, too. It'll heal. Just gotta fix this place up before anything else falls apart. Yep, that was. Okay. So here's Wengra. Back of the Orland's head is a patchwork of singed green-brown fur and dark, scar-rippled flesh. She notices you and jumps back a foot. One of her staring eyes is gold, the other is hazel. She flicks her left ear, which is a little more than a nub on her skull. At last, she relaxes.
I think we found Haravius' mom.
Haravius. Thanks, Adair. Haravius is a Orland companion that we did recruit but haven't spent any time with.
Ha! Took you for one of them Rayed Sarens. Then I saw you had all your teeth. Ha ha ha!
So she's a touch racist, eh? She's shouting at you, but a friendly smile warms her face. She smells of sulfur and smoke. I'm Bjarter.
Hang on, gotta talk into my good ear.
She yells even louder, swiveling a hairless but whole ear toward you.
Now what was... Say, ain't I seen you somewhere?
She scratches a bald patch on her cheek. I reignited the White Forge. I don't know how clever it is to say your mother has.
That's it! Felt those aftershocks all the way in Stalwart!
She closes her eyes rapturously.
Must have been a real sight up close. All that fire. Ugh.
What are you doing out here?
You know, clearing tunnels, blowing old barricades, just tidying up.
She grins, showing all of her teeth.
But soon, I've got to start testing the cannons.
Her voice has dropped to a whisper, or at least her closest approximation of one. She clasps her hands together and looks up at the high tower with nearly religious reverence. Is this about the iron flail?
We held them off a few weeks ago, but they didn't run far. Set up a fort in the woods, and I hear they're working on some really fantastic siege weapons.
Her eyes glow. In that case, why do you stick around?
Because Stalwart never would have let me use this much black powder in the town mines. Anyway, we can stop them.
She rubs her hands together.
Once we have the heavy cannons, that is.
She looks up once more. What's the problem with the heavy cannons?
They're all the way up there.
She points up at a tower that punches through the snow-bleared clouds.
I sent a crew to the tower, but they came back complaining about Skuldrak and the other nasties. Nearly took Kulmar's leg off. Skuldrak did, I mean.
I could look into it.
That'd be a big help. I'd hate to let those beauties go to rust up there.
Twitches and fidgets like a drunk envisioning a tipple.
And anything you find up there is yours. Battery's full of treasures, and the West Tower has hardly been explored. Head through the door and up the stairs. That'll get you to that rampart.
She points up the snow-dusted walkway.
Yeah, Kulmar cleared the rubble before he took to getting himself conveniently injured. You should be able to work your way up to the cannons from there. Meantime, I'll check on our black powder stock.
She gives you a smile full of jagged teeth. Okay, so we have to ascend the West Tower now. Okay. So we've been up here before, but there was no other path. So we have a new path now. With the Great Hall, go to the White Forge. Great Hall. Oh, this is no longer mapped out. So let's see what we got here. I read that before. We have some new elevator here. Wheels and levers from minecarts lay scattered. Black powder handled with care. A bronze statue of Abaddon stands over incense ash and rusted metal tokens.
I can do that. A simple test.
Whereas this is all locked up again. We got new stuff in here and everything.
I can do that. That's settled.
That smells smoky. It's stained with black powder and ash. So he named NPC Corbel. This dwarf gives you a quick nod as he smears the grease and soot from his fingers on his apron. A copper chain dangling from his ear sparks red in the firelight. I know who you are. Wouldn't be in this place if it weren't for you. He rubs the chain on his ear, flashing a half smile. What can I do for you? What is it that you do here? I'm running the excavation of the lower levels and everything else around here. Supplies, the kitchen, quarters. When you need something, you come to me. I want to see the stores. Let's get to it. Okay, so we have the White Crest's helm. While its original bearer's name has been lost to the ages, the famed White Crest armor features in many tales of dwarven adherent of Andra, whose blows struck his enemies with all the overbearing power of the sea. The armor's weight was such that the warriors described as moving as if through shallow water. But foes believing themselves to have the advantage of speed often found they could not outrun the warriors' lighting spells. Okay, so it's a helm, I guess, but it's for, it ups intellect, so it must be for mages. these, because why not? Okay. Warm drippings simmer at the bottom of this pot.
A simple test. That's settled.
Old guard's key. Daily affirmations of focus and deficiency. The Abaddon text. Heavy stones block the hall. Under the pillow are a child's crude charcoal drawings. This cot smells smoke. Read that one. Okay, so we have to go up here to do the next part of the quest, but let's see if there's anything interesting to explore down here. I wonder if other things have changed as well. Are there doors up here? Heavy stones block the hall. I wonder how those got there. I feel like we were able to walk into that before. Okay, so we are down to the foundry now, which I believe past here was like the third level that we did. So we skipped the mines, and we're now down at the bottom level. Heavy stones block the hall. Yeah, okay.
I can do that. That's settled.
There's Nesta. I think maybe I want to get the West Hall up and running before. The surface of the anvil hums with power. It's warm to the touch. Before I actually talk to Nesta. Especially since now we got some iron ingots. Let's see if we can... Alright, we got 2. Eye-watering heat wafts from the mouth of the White Forge. So I can go to the front gates, East Tower, and the Great Hall. Let's go back to the Great Hall from here. So I want to see if maybe this guy has some Durgan steel for us to buy. Alright, let's head up the stairs.
Something over there.
Yeah, so I don't think this was here before.
Nice and quiet.
So this is West Tower Lower.
You're not getting through me.
Moe Ixi.
I feel like fighting all these things. Durance is not getting his soulbound weapon anything. Yeah, only 3 times. What about Bayarter? 7 of 15. Let's open up.
I can do that. That's settled.
Laying low.
Vareth!
That's for my friends.
the flame reveal?
I'm surprised Durance is getting hurt a lot more now that I gave him a melee weapon.
Of course.
Go. Some more Durgan iron ingots. I can upgrade with Durgan steel.
A simple test. That's settled.
A lever request. This note is written in a fine script. The level for their artillery lift has been broken again. I've been telling my men to be as careful as possible while using the lift, but it's difficult to keep your balance on the thing. One bad bump nearly sent a handful of them off the edge, and I'd rather they break a lever to keep their balance than fall off. Unfortunately, it was a clean break this time. We'll need this lever as soon as possible. Scrawled across the bottom in thick ink is an additional note. If your men stop talking up so much ammunition at this point, at a time, this wouldn't be a problem. This will be the last lever you ever get. Next time, you're just getting a rammer. Okay.
See now what the flame has shown us?
The cannons are cold as ice and banded by angular patterns and prayers to Abaddon. There's the lever. Lever you found in the west tower. A malformed cog is attached to one end.
I can do that. That's settled.
I wonder if that was supposed to be like a quest to find the key for that or something. Got some moon spiders and skull drakes.
Leave it to me! You're not...
You peer through the hole and see a wide, sturdy parapet running along the wall. Several feet along the wall, you also see a broad crack. It appears to lead to another room. Just gonna leave for now. Head back to that later.
I'm on the trail.
Like we got some cannons out some windows here.
You're not getting through me.
It's trapped there. Okay. Right.
That's settled.
You have a unique stiletto. Okay. The vent pick. One-handed. The stiletto was crafted shortly before the fall of Durgan's battery. In addition to its exceptional quality and the use of Durgan steel in its construction, it also features an enchantment that its previous owner used to ignite cannons and the occasional stove. Spider over here.
I'll see what I can find.
I can do that. That's settled.
Andron's notes. Who knew a creature as disgusting as a disease pudding could be so useful? Their ability to not only prevent metals from rusting, but to remove rust entirely is astounding. I can only imagine what sort of contraptions we can devise without having to worry about exposing iron to the elements. As always, I get ahead of myself. Finding these creatures is already a chore. Keeping them properly contained is nearly impossible. I was lucky to acquire what few I have. So, disease pudding, huh? Bargain rust dissolver. This must be made from disease pudding. A small label on the side reads, property of A. Thorl, for use on rusted materials only. And that lever we find, was that rusted? Yellow gelatinous residue lines the bottom of the broken tube. Let's see. Nope, it's just a regular lever. So I need to use that on something else.
I've got an idea. Let's stay out here.
There's a way to turn. Looks like some poison or something in the air there.
You're not getting through me. Leave it to me.
I'm on the trail.
Run. Oh, oh.
And the fire shows me something new.
The mantle of the excavator. The Runen are known not only as great explorers and builders, but also as experts in the field of mining. To survive perilous underground environments, they've developed a variety of cloaks, capes, and hoods that protect wearers from poisonous vapors. Okay, so this has defense against poison attacks. Which might help with that room down there. So it's got survival and perception. I'm going to give it to Sagani. Let's
Red Watcher.
send Sagani through here and see if
Sure.
it helps.
Feels like I ate bad seed.
Oh, she's got that disease pudding in there. Oh, it didn't.
Feels like I ate bad seeds.
We got Sagani.
They gonna come get us now, or? Okay, I'm gonna reload. So she's still got that on. Yeah.
All right, then.
So probably have to figure out some other way to turn the poison off in that room or something.
Perhaps we should take the stairs.
Kind of elevator or something then. The chain is so rusted it barely moves. By the Parkin rust dissolver. You pour the contents of the vial onto the chain. The solvent hisses as it dribbles down, melting the rust into a slick brown puddle. The heavy chain squeaks with movement. And this must be where the lever goes. The slot looks like it's missing a lever. Fit the replacement lever into the slot. With a little maneuvering, it clicks into place. Your new lever protrudes from the slot. The gearbox looks strangely empty, like it's missing a cog. Perception 13. Upon closer inspection, you see a thin layer of yellow slime coating the gearbox.
Laying low.
So it looks like we gotta find one more thing to get that elevator up and running.
You're not getting me. You're not getting me. Leave it to me.
Give those to Durans. Okay, good. Didn't take it.
Slow and silent.
Artillery lift notice. The artillery lift will be closed until further notice. The cogs are rusting, and any failure in the mechanism could be catastrophic. Potion Master Andrin is looking into the patinating the cogs to make them weatherproof. A map shows the peaks and passes surrounding Durgan's battery. Faded red circles mark choke points.
Of course.
Come on.
There's been poison.
That's it. Leave it to me.
Yeah!
Hooray! Hooray at this!
Oh well.
Margaren's fire casts light in dark places.
Dwarven tone. Oh, nothing special here. Okay. Got the cannon range key. Under layers of rust, the iron key bears the small inscription cannon range on the side. Oh, I didn't get it. on the treatment and preservation of cannons. This page seems to be from a larger text. We now have treatment to prevent our prized cannons from rusting outside. Postmaster Andron developed a solution that seals the metal, protecting it from cold air. We've transformed the old armory into a patination chamber, where we can heat the solution into a gas. As the gas suffuses the chamber, it will build up a hard coating on the cannons. After a few weeks, the cannons will be ready for the elements. However, we must be careful around the solution. One of Andron's assistants scalded her throat just from breathing too close to the stuff. The rest of the manuscript has fallen apart over time. I wonder if that is in relation to that poison room over there, which it looks like we're going to have to go into. We've been in this round shot smithery. It must have been. Oh yeah, that was where we found that. Okay. Alright, not sure how we're going to get through this here.
Not to alarm you, but I'm...
Let's see if they follow us out of here.
Alarm you, but I'm slowly dying of poison.
Can we make some of this stuff?
It's been poisoned. Yeah! That's the right.
Get out of here. So we killed everything in there. Let's see. Endurance isn't looking too good. I should take a rest.
Ready, Watcher.
Let's see what we can find in here.
I ate bad seal meat.
There we go. There's our patinated cog. A cog you found in the patination chamber. It is coated with a thick layer of yellow slime.
Ugh. Feels like I ate bad seal meat.
Oh, we got it. The gearbox looks strangely empty, like it's missing a cog. Insert the new cog. You slot the cog into place. The mechanism looks ready to run now. Right. Time to pull the lever. Head on down. The lift at last shudders into motion, lifting you toward the clouds. The lift makes slow, jouncing progress. It lurches every few feet, the rusted chains groaning like the dead. It comes to a trembling stop, and the entire platform swings precariously. A sharp metallic odor emanates from one of the winches. You hear screeching. At first, you think it's coming from the winch, but then you realize it's coming from above. An enormous skulldrake swoops from the shadows. You feel the air from its passage as it whooshes past you, but before you can catch more than a glimpse, it's circling back, searching for you with ear-splitting shrieks. Rustling wings and heavy musk alert you to the presence of more of the beasts. As they close, the platform continues to sway and bounce. Send someone to fix the winch. Smoke rises from the rattling, grinding winch. Repairing it will be a chore. In addition, the Skulldrakes sweep through the air above the platform, their ears swiveling and twitching as they listen for movement. Who will go? I'll send Durance. He's got mechanics. Durance scrambles noisily toward the winch, footfalls echoing the dark shaft. The Skulldrake pulls away from the pack and flits toward Durance, drawn by the ruckus. With a hiss, the Skulldrake spits a gob of acid into Durance's face before flying away to rejoin the pack. Durance screams in pain. Durance reaches the winch and sets to work on the jammed, rusted cogs within. The problem isn't as simple as Durance had hoped. You see the solution in the snarled metal, but Durance will need another minute to fix it, and the Skulldrake overhead are growing bolder. Continue fixing the winch. I don't know if this is the right call. The largest Skulldrake dives to the middle of the lift. Its screeches turn to hisses as it spews sizzling acid across the platform. It scalds you. Your own scream rings in your ears and you smell burning flesh. The smaller Skulldrake zip past in tighter circles as they close. Meanwhile, the largest of the bunch is wheeling back, preparing for another attack. Within moments, Durance has cleared the jam. Durance rushes back to the lever. Just then, the large Skulldrake swoops overhead and spews acid. It misses Durance but catches you and the rest of the platform in the spray. Durance yanks on the lever. The chains rattle and clink and the platform starts to move. The Skulldrakes scatter. As the lift resumes its climb, the startled Skulldrake retreat back into the shadows. The platform rises from the tower and you feel a cold wind on your face. Restore the cannons. Wow, we got damaged a lot here. Maybe we should have just stood our ground, but well, it's too late now. And camping is not allowed.
Silent.
Cannons are frozen. I'll have to find a way to keep them warm before anyone can use them. Okay.
Leave it to me!
Whoa, an Elder Skulldrake, eh?
That's for my friends.
Varanthus! Of course.
There we go. Bjarter's crossbow leveled up. Now I need to deal 300 damage to frightened enemies. So I need to frighten them first. Or deal 1500 damage to enemies with Twin Sting. I'll have to remember to frighten enemies with Bjarter's powers.
Of course.
It's got a soulbound shield. I think I want to give this to Adair. The shield was traditionally passed between dragon hunters to honor exceptional feats and kills. Receiving the Dragon's Maw shield is one of the highest honors among dragon hunters, and over the years it's been the objects of countless bets, soured friendships, lifelong apprenticeships, and violent deaths. Okay, so I'm going to give him the shield. Find it. Deal 300 damage to enemies with at least 75 endurance, or deal 1500 damage to enemies. Okay. It's an interesting thing for a shield that I have to deal damage.
Nice and quiet.
Engravings depict the Pargrunan's journey to the White March. The cannon is frozen and immobile.
What a sight! Up here, it's all pretty as a painting.
It is kind of pretty kinda. Okay. This says engraved boiler. So let's see what we can do here. You turn the wheel and a gust of steam blasts you in the face. You stagger back and fall, spiraling towards smoke and flame. You find solid ground beneath your feet, even as the air around you is a haze of smoke and heat shimmer. Coughing, you bat acrid fumes from your face. As you acclimate to the soot-choked air, you see flames leaping into the distance. Each flare bathes you with warmth, and even as you struggle to pick out the details of this place, something about it seems familiar. Examine your surroundings. You can see a little through the thick smoke, but the dancing flames illuminate a dragon's head cast in stone. It's the White Forge. As you start toward it, something massive comes crashing down in front of you. You leap back at the sound of metal slamming into metal and feel a deep tone ring through the thick air. Recovering your bearings, you find yourself looking at an enormous hand. It's dark and shiny with heat, but you see every bone, muscle, and tendon working in harmony beneath the bronzed flesh. The hand's owner is hidden behind clouds of smoke, but the hand itself is wrapped around a pole as thick and sturdy as a tree trunk. Follow the pole. You continue onward to see what lies at the other end of the pole, and to what's responsible for the clangorous music, just as the hand rises again. It swings back down in a perfect arc. A tower of metal smashes down ahead of you, raining sparks and glints of essence as another deep, ringing note sounds. You realize that you're looking at an enormous hammer. The head glows with heat and essence, though the purple luster fades as soul energy is sucked from the hammer and into the work under it. Inspect the hammer. It's a block of black steel, as dark as a starless night and shiny enough that you can see your reflection in it. It's a work of art itself, a study of simple yet perfect design. Get a closer look at the work. As the hammer rises once more, you dart forward to see what lies beneath it. A lone figure sprawls in an expanse of steel as smooth and broad as lake ice. The figure itself is enormous, a magefolk of twisted flesh and forged metal. Its arms end in two spiked clubs, and its head is a blunt, eyeless wedge. It opens its mouth and keens. The desperation in that noise reminds you of the newborn's fear and confusion. Air rushes at your back. You look up and see the hammer, its head once more glowing with essence, speeding toward you. You awaken to the sensation of warm tiles beneath your face. You're prone before the boiler, which drones on, pushing heat through the tower floor. But in the vapor that pulses from the boiler and pipes, you smell the fumes of the White Forge. That seems like it was some kind of vision of Abaddon, and it was forging some kind of creature. I'm gonna have to look up Magefolk at the beginning of the next session so we can read a little bit about that. But it seems like that was a little hint at what had attacked the White Forge so many years ago, 200 years ago, and basically put it out of commission.
The dwarves chose the wrong god. There's nothing like Margren's heat to give an old cannon new life.
Alright, so we gotta return to Wengra. Hopefully that's it. You know what? I feel like I should inspect this globe again, and maybe even the cannons. Engravings depict the Pargrunan's journey to White March. Nope. Oh, can't do the cannons up here. What's this down here? Through the gap, you see winding stairs and the dull glint of more cannons. Okay. Alright, so now we can just choose where to go. So let's go to the front gates.
That was incredible! Whole forge spit flames when you did whatever you did. And the smoke! Ha! I saw it from here. And now to see about these cannons.
She rubs her hands together. She starts for the door, but then she remembers something.
This is for you. Found it while we were cleaning out the battery.
Have a few questions for you. What's on your mind? How do the cannons work?
If only I could show you. But everyone else is all worried about accidents and injuries. So they've said I can't fire them until there's a real need.
Tell me about the iron flail.
They came out here a few weeks back and asked us to vacate the forge, real nice-like. When we told them to turn around or we'd do them like we did their fellow Widewin, things got rough. They went to their fort, but they'll be back for sure. Darien sent a group from Stalwart to parley, but they never made it back.
She gives you a knowing look.
So it's a good thing you got these guns working. We'll be ready for those raid Sarens when they come for us.
What are you doing out here?
I'm taking care of these lovelies so they can take care of us.
She gazes affectionately at the cannons. You really like explosions.
Well, back in Stalwart, I learned everything Tana knew about black powder, and a few things she didn't. Them she wasn't so happy about.
She frowns, looking momentarily distracted.
After what might have been a small mishap in the Stalwart mines, they sent me here to put my talents to better use.
Very well. Small mishap in the Stalwart mines. That's where we saw that black powder before, so she made some kind of mistake that damaged something, hopefully not people.
I'm headed up the tower. Gonna make those cannons shine.
She skips toward the door. All right, and that'll do it for this session here. We got the cannons up and running again in the White Forge so that they can defend themselves. And I think next session we will finally go see what this Iron Flail army is all about. But that'll do it for now. Thank you as always for joining me. As always, love to hear from you. If you have any questions, comments, those kinds of things. And hope you join me again for session 16. Thanks everybody and goodbye.